Growing the best tomato plants in your garden comes down to one simple principle: keeping the plants off the ground. Hi, I'm Chelsea here at Burpee's Fort Hook Farm. If you let your tomato plants sprawl across the ground and through the garden, your plants and fruit will suffer. Your tomatoes themselves will be susceptible to pests and bugs. Also, each tomato will be white where it touches the ground, unable to ripen. And you probably won't get as much fruit as you would if you grew your plant up on supports. Supporting your tomatoes improves air circulation, keeps fruits away from pests, and allows tomatoes to ripen fully and makes picking tomatoes very easy. Plus, tomato plants with foliage and fruit supported off the ground will produce more tomatoes than unsupported plants. For supporting your tomato plants, there are two basic methods: staking and caging. Let's look at each method. Staking relies on growing your tomato plant up a stake. A plant won't climb the stake by itself. You'll have to tie the plant to the stake periodically as it grows. And because tomatoes grow outward and upward, you'll have to prune and trim your plant to keep it neat and growing up the stake. Since you're controlling the plant's outward habit, you can plant your plants closer together. You'll have more plants and less space. Also, staked and pruned tomatoes tend to produce fruit quicker and slightly larger than cage plants, although cage plants will produce more fruit. The basic tomato stake is at least 1 inch by 1 inch and a minimum of 5 feet tall above the ground. This may seem big, but a full-grown tomato vine is really heavy when it's covered with fruit. Drive the stake 12 inches into the ground, being careful not to injure the plant's roots. As the plant grows, loosely tie the vine every foot or so. Also, trim side branches to maintain its upward habit. Caging is my favorite method of support, and it's really simple. The basic idea is to grow your plant up the middle of a cage so it supports itself as it grows up and out. Caging has plenty of advantages. It involves less work than staking. Once the cage is placed over the plant, there's very little training needed of the plant, less pruning and no tying. As the plant grows, its branches reach out through the cage and support the plant as it gets taller. The fruit are simply harvested as they ripen. Pruning only needs to be done to maintain the space between the plants and for a walkway to harvest from. Plants grown in cages get bushier with more leaves. These leaves help to shade out the plant and the fruit from the harsh summer sun, protecting the tomatoes from scalding. Fruits hidden among the leaves are less likely to be discovered by pests such as birds. But most importantly, cage plants produce more fruit than staked and pruned plants. They're allowed to grow and blossom to their fullest potential. We're using Burpee professional tomato cages here at Fort Hook Farm. These are all-in-one units that are hinged and can be folded flat for easy storage. Just unfold them and place them over the young tomato plant. The bottom supports drive into the ground to anchor the cage. As the plant grows, it will naturally support itself on the ledges of the cage. And because the cage is so wide, it will support even the heaviest plants loaded with summer tomatoes. My general rule for spacing staked tomatoes is to space plants 2 to 3 feet apart in rows 4 feet apart. For cage tomatoes, space your plants no less than 4 feet apart, but 5 to 6 feet is best. Space rows 5 to 6 feet from one another. Remember, cage plants grow big and bushy, and you don't want to crowd them or make it hard to get in there and harvest the fruit. You can find an entire selection of tomato supports at our website, burpee.com. And be sure to watch all of our videos on tomatoes, America's most popular garden vegetable. Happy gardening!